in the Oscar race for Best Actress, I think we have two frontrunners, Pete Hammond, Deadline Hollywood. I'm Tom O'Neill of Gold Derby. I think they are, and the Gold Derby experts agree with this, Sally Hawkins for Shape of Water and Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards. What's your thought about that?
I think it's interesting. I don't know that I would call them the front runners. Both of those movies have not even opened yet. We've seen them, obviously, at film festivals and things. Sally Hawkins is not only great in Shape of Water, she's great in Maudie, which is a screener that's gone out to Academy members already. So I have a feeling most Academy members will be seeing her first in Maudie before they see The Shape of Water, and that could help her enormously. Right. If you suddenly switch the spotlight to this movie, Shape of Water, in which she doesn't speak, really. It's a very interesting...
Mute role. She plays a mute. Yes,
yeah, it's a very interesting performance. She's wonderful in everything she does,
But it would be a stretch for the Academy to go for that kind of movie with monster, a sea monster in it and this kind of thing, and it's actually a romance with a sea monster.
Well, there are the people that see it, that like it, love it.
And I'm one of them.
Yes,
I'm one of them.
Love it. I mean, so it has that passion vote going for it, and that could really help her there. Others may dismiss it, like you said, because of some of the elements of it, and that's their problem.
The extraordinary love is also there for Frances McDormand with 3 Billboards.
Yeah, she's already won for Fargo, though. What do we care?
And that was 30 years ago, but we see these big gaps. Meryl Streep came back after 30 years.
Yeah.
This happened. Daniel Day-Lewis did it on the actor side, not that long, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Frances McDormand is great. She's a great actress. This is a perfect role for her. She's quirky, she's funny. It goes into weird places.
It really does.
I don't know how. I don't want to give away much on this picture.
But it's bloody and it's violent and it
and her character is too. Her character goes into places you don't expect that may not add up.
I would say though that defiance that she has, and we're talking Frances McDormand here, I think is a big plus for her. And I think there's a scene. This little spoiler alert from the movie. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with the plot, but it does have to do with what. There's a scene in there that I think is her Oscar scene, just similar to Helen. Remember how when the Queen, Helen Mirren, had the scene where she looks at the deer, the antelope kind of thing?
Yes.
And Frances has the same kind of...
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
My theory.
I mean, these are movies that haven't opened yet, all of these that you have on the list here, at least in the top 5 that Gold Derby seems to be projecting. Saoirse Ronan. Just as wonderful.
2-time past nominee, nominated recently for Brooklyn.
Great
and
in this movie. You know, not a typical Oscar movie. It's a teen movie, if you want to put it into that category. Those normally don't go. I thought last year Haley Steinfeld should have been nominated for Edge of 17, which opened and pretty much closed. And it was a terrific film, but it was in the teen genre, and they dismissed it.
Yes, but it didn't have the art house cachet that Lady Bird has.
Yes, Lady Bird definitely has more of that coming in, and definitely with the film festival. So she's probably in for sure. Meryl Streep, what's she in this year? It doesn't really matter, does it?
Automatic nominee.
What the hell?
I heard an Academy member, I won't say who, somebody you know, say the other day, well, why would we nominate Meryl Streep this year? She's playing that privileged matriarch. She inherited the Washington Post. Why, you know, how can you be a kind of troubled character that we care about so much and win Oscars?
Well, because Meryl Streep's playing her, playing Kay Graham, which you're referring to, who was the publisher of the Post and Newsweek magazine.
And this is a movie about the Pentagon Papers.
Yes, and I haven't seen one piece of footage on it. But just because she's Meryl Streep earns her a spot right there. And Jessica Chastain, I have seen that. Molly's Game, she's fantastic.
But she plays Jessica Chastain. That's the problem. Normally when Meryl Streep wins an Oscar, she's portraying Maggie Thatcher or something.
Right.
You know, they want to see a transformative performance. And I think the Saoirse Ronans, I think the Jessica Chastains have a problem, and that Benning, that these people that are, you know, they're not giving us the big... The Oscars is often about the most something than...
Yeah, but boy, I really disagree. I think this performance in Molly's Game blew me away. First of all, it's Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut, and it's from an Aaron Sorkin script, so it's wall-to-wall dialogue. In fact, so much dialogue, I've never heard a movie narrated so much as this. She narrates her own story, so she's not only the narrator, she's the on-screen protagonist, and the only problem it's going to have is last year there was a movie out.
Miss Sloane.
Yeah, Miss Sloane, that I thought she was great in too. But you're right there, it may be a little too similar, but it's not.
She got nominated for the Globes, but overlooked for the Oscars.
Yeah, but
with
so
Miss Sloane.
fantastic in that, but really great in Molly's Game. I was really impressed with her. Judi Dench How can we deny her? You only have her 6th. Isn't she a slam dunk for
Well,
Victoria?
she's had 7 nominations. Her last was for Philomena in 20.
She's been nominated for this character before, actually.
That's true. That's a good point.
For her first one. So it's a nice bookend in her career
That's
if
a great
she gets
idea.
nominated
That's a
again.
Good point. Kate Winslet, what do you think of that? I mean, she
Kate
just
Winslet
carries a wonder wheel, which I like. Not many people.
I liked it a lot, and I loved her in it, and it's a real actor's performance. It is so actory, actually.
Yes.
This is like Vivian Leigh in A Streetcar Named Desire.
That's a good thing because Blanche Dubois was as annoying often on screen
as this
in that
character.
woman, and that is, I think that's a problem.
This
here.
is a character that actors love.
I know, yeah.
She does it all in this movie and without apology.
But I heard somebody say it's a beautifully raw performance, but just like almost too raw.
Well, it may be, and it may be too much for some. It's not on the subtle side, but it's not meant to be. It's, you know, this is a movie that could have been made in the 50s, about the 50s, essentially. So there, Emma Stone was perfection in Battle of the Sexes. The only thing holding her back is the movie's faded a little bit at this point, and to keep that momentum going, plus she won last year.
But of course, tell that to Tom Hanks, who won, back to back. The thing here that I like is that they love crusader roles at the Oscars, and she plays a double crusader here as a feminist hero and an LGBT.
Oh yeah, and she has Billie Jean King walking around town saying how good she was. That always helps when you're playing a real life person who's still living, who can endorse you.
Let's talk about the walking around town thing, because if I'm right about frontrunners, if Gold Derby is, and it's Frances McDormand, Sally Hawkins, I was hearing some people say just yesterday that involved in this race saying neither one of them campaigned. But so who is out there? Who is out there? What's your take on the campaign scene for Best Actress right now? Who's out there? Remember,
who's out there doing this? So far, nobody. It's early.
It's too early.
You know,
yeah,
I mean, we
you're
haven't
right.
seen the real campaign
Good point.
get into gear yet. I mean, Emma Stone certainly was very available, as she was last year during La La Land. She's been on the circuit. She's been at all the film festivals with Battle of the Sexes. She's been around everywhere with Billie Jean King, so that can help. But I wouldn't call it campaigning, and Annette Bening certainly hasn't been, and I just got to say
she was at
something.
Toronto, Annette was.
She was in Toronto late. I was even gone from Toronto when she
I was on the return flight with her.
But I got to say, Annette Bening, okay. Now, who is the most overdue actress in Hollywood?
But
if it's anybody, it's Annette Bening, who was not nominated last year for 20th Century Women. That was a crime. But I think she's so good in this movie, even Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool, where she plays an Oscar winner, Gloria Graham, who's sort of at the end of her days doing a play there, who hooks up with a much younger man, played by the great, great Jamie Bell. And we should have mentioned him with the Best Actor lineup because he's very deserving. But Annette Bening, again, a flawless performance. Will they see this movie? It's not opening till December 29th. They'll obviously
they
send
watch them
out
on screeners anyway.
They'll send out screeners and things, but she is another one, that Academy governor and all sorts of things, heading the campaign for the museum and all of that. So I would love to see Annette Bening just finally take home an Oscar, and I would give it to her for this movie. I loved her in this film. I thought she was great. Margot Robbie playing Tonya Harding. Her biggest problem is who likes Tonya Harding?
I know. That's what people say.
But it's an interesting performance and a great movie. Fun to watch. The one in that movie is Allison Janney for sure. She is just amazing in the supporting. I think she could win. And Margot Robbie's fantastic, but we have 5 slots, and we've got at least, there are so many actresses all of a sudden. I don't know what's happening.